Hello everybody, welcome back to another review. In this review, I will be reviewing and unboxing these new Hot Wheels Racerverse vehicles of Buzz Lightyear and Peep from the Toy Story movies. So this is part of the Hot Wheels Racerverse diecast line. It's from Mattel. They're the same company that does a lot of the Cars toys I've reviewed, although these are not actually from the Cars movies. So what I say about these is that these are Pixar cars with a lowercase c. The lowercase c meaning that they're Pixar cars are not actually from the Cars movies. And then characters like Lightning McQueen, those are Pixar cars with the uppercase C. But anyway, going back to these reviews, going back to these Toy Story vehicles, rather, I just found these at Walmart earlier today. Buzz Lightyear has actually been around for a while. I think he was initially released in 2023 as like, early on in the Racerverse series. And then Bo Peep, as stated on the package, she's new for this year. But I just found them earlier today at my Walmart, and I can't wait to take these out of the package and read them. Starting off discussing the package. So taking a look at the Racerverse package, unlike the packages for the Cars movies, these actually use illustrations of the characters rather than renders made by Pixar. And rather than using a background from the movie or anything, it uses looks like just the iconic Hot Wheels orange track. And even looking down the plastic, like they even have a cardboard insert that is designed to make it look like the iconic Hot Wheels racetrack. The car itself looks great. You have the Hot Wheels Racerverse logo in the center. You have Buzz Lightyear written on the side. So for these, it's like a lot of Hot Wheels toys. The names are written on the side of the package rather than in the middle, like the Cars toys now, or as a cardboard insert, which they used to do with the Cars toys. Although, because these still have the cardboard inserts in the bottom, like they probably could do it inside the package or inside the plastic. And you also have the Pixar logo up in the top right corner of the package. Weirdly, they don't use the Toy Story logo. They just use the Pixar logo. So that's kind of like a lot of the Pixar merchandise that Mattel has been doing the past 5 years. And then in the back, you could see the Pixar logo again in the top left corner this time. Hot Wheels Racerverse in the right corner. Both of those are on the top. Mattel logo in the bottom left. And a stock photo of Buzz Lightyear. Bo Peep is the same thing. You have a nice illustration of her in her skunk vehicle. The skunk vehicle is directly from Toy Story 4, whereas Buzz's vehicle, it's inspired by not actually seen in any movies, it's inspired by his box in the first movie, which of course his spaceship at the end of Lightyear is also based on. And just to give a sense of comparison, this is how a Lightning McQueen out of the package will compare in size, so quite a bit bigger. The Cars diecast from the Cars movies, the ones with the capital C, those are 155 scale. I believe these Hot Wheels are in line with the standard Hotline scale, which is 164. I'll also show a comparison to a Cars package for comparison's sake as well, since I do have some unopened Pixar Cars in hand as well. Although at this moment, I don't have any Cars I'm intending to reviews on them. Well, Cars with a capital C, that is. So as promised, here is a card back of a Pixar car with a capital C for comparisons to compare the package. So packages are the same height, the same width as well. But you clearly see a lot of differences in the package. There's like the Cars package actually have the Cars logo, or in this case, the logo for Cars on the Road, which is Disney Plus series. And by the way, if you're not watching the Pixar Disney Plus series, please watch them, because if the next two that have been already finished being produced are set for release, which are Win or Lose and an Inside Out spinoff called Dream Productions, don't do well, they're not making any more Disney Plus series. So please support Pixar by watching these series. Cars on the Road is definitely a very good one, as are Doug Days and Porky Asked a Question. Anyway, going back to the packages. As you can see in the back, the bottom halves of the package, they look more or less the same, just in different color schemes. But the top, and the top is also pretty similar layout. And it's saying, look at all these other cars from the Pixar Cars on the Road line that you could buy. Although notably, I don't see the metal icon on the Hot Wheels car though, even though it is metal. And you can see some similarities. Again, the Mattel logo in the bottom right on both. 3+ is written on the bottom left in both, although in very different fonts. So moving on, let's open Woody and Buzz up and see how take a look at them out of the package. Or if I just said Woody and Buzz, I'm not sure if I just said that I meant Woody and Bo. There is no Racerverse Woody at this time, unfortunately. Here are Woody and Bo out of the package. I keep saying Woody for some reason. Here are Buzz and Bo out of the package. They look great. And for anyone interested, here is the cardboard insert. It's the same on them both. That's the bottom of it. And it is 2-layered, but it said they only has a print on one side. It's glued shut. Probably just regular brown cardboard in the bottom. So I'm going to start off with Buzz. So you can look at Buzz. This is a nice car. Of course, it has rolling wheels, as you'd expect for a Hot Wheels diecast. It's definitely a nice car. It does seem like the wings at the back are made of plastic, unfortunately. But this nonetheless is a nice design. There are some nice details on Buzz. He does have his iconic buttons from the movies. He had the red button, the red circular button on right here. And then this side you have the green, blue, and red oval-shaped buttons. There is text that should say Lightyear above the red one, the red circular one, but it's very difficult to read. Anyone who is familiar with the cars with a capital C that Mattel makes has known that they've really been struggling with doing small details these past few years, and unfortunately this one is no different. The Racerverse series in general, at least for the Pixar characters, I don't collect the ones that aren't from Pixar. They don't have too many decals, but it's like this Buzz one is bad with that Lightyear one with the red circle. So anyone who knows about the Cars decals issues, the ones with the capital C, the same thing with this one. So taking a look at this yellow arrow right here next to this white circle, this is on both sides of Buzz's car. Like, I honestly had no idea what that even says. Like, if I had to make an educated guess what it says, it would say danger, because that does make sense, having that be on like a yellow arrow, or caution or something like that. When you look up close, it kind of does look like danger. And like, this is probably actually the single worst example of text in this car. Actually, so. But if you look at this Christmas tree worm that the Disney Store made, you can clearly see, well, I'm not sure if it'll come out clearly on the camera, but it says rescue. And it's like, this is just not even readable or legible at all. It's bad. I don't even know what's worse, this yellow arrow that says rescue, or this blurb of text beneath the Buzz Lightyear logo. Because they're both just impossible to read at all. I don't know what's going on in Mattel's Talent Factory, because their ability to put in legible details has just gone off a cliff. Well, actually, it's always gone off a cliff. They just never... It went off a cliff when they moved production from China to Thailand. They just never made any effort to improve whatsoever. At least the Buzz Lightyear and the black text right here is legible, at least. This one, you can make out that it says Buzz Lightyear, and this one, the spoiler back here, you can make out that it says Buzz Lightyear, but you can't make out anything that it says next to the Space Ranger logo or below it. Like, I know it says Space Ranger on the wings of the logo, but you can't read it, like, at all. Below that, I had no clue what that even says. And then you're going to have the same issue on the other side as well. And also, I'll note that on both sides, the Buzz Lightyear logo is a bit on an angle. I'm assuming that that is intentional, because it's on both sides. It does look neat, though. And then I do really like the wheel designs. It's definitely giving off like a space vibe with how it's flat, and then you have like these small things that are pushed, these small square rectangles that are kind of pushed into it in a pattern. It reminds me of some, if anyone knows the Disney Speedstorm video game, it reminds me of some of the wheels on there. And Buzz is a character on there too, but he's very difficult to unlock. And there's actually no graphics at all on his hood, which you'd think that this Buzz Lightyear, it looks kind of more like a race car. And so you'd think that you'd have some sort of Buzz Lightyear graphic on the hood, but you don't. Which I guess that makes sense, because it is going for the vibe of the top of the box in the movie. And then the back, this is like a really nice rocket booster design, which even more contributes to that race car vibe. How you have these 3 rockets in the back of the car. It looks really, really cool. And the color scheme of the car is nice. You have a lot different. You have obviously the car is a lot of white, but you also have this nice blue accent along the bottom half, and there is this nice purple accent here, and then you have this light blue that gives off the window vibes from the Buzz Lightyear box in the movies. And of course, Buzz does have a nice facial expression as well. Overall, I'd say this is a really nice car. Just it struggles where Mattel really struggles a lot with their car manufacturing, which is decals. The decals on this car suck, but the rest of it is awesome. And I'd say that the decals, that probably knocks it down by a whole letter in my opinion. Like if the decals were good, this would be an A+ car. The decals probably knock it down to a B+. And here's the base for anyone interested. Almost forgot to show that. This is production code T04. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming that probably means the 4th week of this year. I'm assuming for production. I've heard about the base codes in like the reviews for the cars with the capital C diecast, but I don't know what the exact codes are for the Racerverse though. I'm less familiar with those. And this car is, and also in the bottom you have the Hot Wheels logo, copyright Disney Pixar. I need to take this off camera to read this, unfortunately. I'm so sorry for you guys. I have to take this away for a second. Copyright 2022 Mattel 1186 MJ, 1, NL, and made in Thailand. So, well, that explains the decals because that's also where the cars with the capital C are produced as well. So, I have this Buzz Lightyear ornaments that I got from the Disney Store a couple of years ago, which I'll use to compare to the box. I don't have any other Buzz Lightyear. This is the only Buzz Lightyear box merchandise that I personally have, so we're going to have to compare it to a Christmas ornament. So you stand the car upright, which it actually can stand that way pretty easily. You'll see that this is definitely going for the vibe of the Buzz Lightyear box, and I do think it does a really good job at that. So kind of the spoilers, they definitely form the wings back here. They're obviously way more angled than they are on the box. On the box, they're basically straight, like think an airplane wing, whereas on the car, they're basically just a regular car spoiler with how they're angled. But it does look really, really good. On the car, it reminds me more of what you see with like the tails of an F-15 or the military jets, military fighter jets, whereas the Buzz Lightyear box is the type of wings that you see on a commercial airplane. The Buzz Lightyear text on the Buzz Lightyear logo being on the back instead of the front, which is the opposite we normally expect for a race car, definitely fits the vibe that they're going for with the box. And that text down there, I could probably read what that says in this ornament here, which I'll have to take off camera for a second. It says pulsating laser light, high pressure space wings, multi-phase voice simulator. So that's probably what Mattel tried to put in here, but failed miserably at. And what is neat about this is having Buzz in the center. It definitely fits with how the box actually looks in the movie when you have Buzz in the center of the box. And then they did a great job trying to replicate the windows up in the front. So the car itself, because the Buzz is sticking out, like everything in the Racerverse line is basically convertible. So even the ones that you actually see in the movies, like for example, the Mike Wazowski car, that's not a convertible in the movie, but it is for the Racerverse line, so they could actually build in the characters. But in the movie, of course, Buzz is in the box, so of course it would make sense for him to be in the center. So that works great. And the window decals, because it's a convertible, you obviously can't have a window. They didn't even put a windshield on this for some reason. But it does look great having as decals. I think it may have been better if they tried to do like a 3-part windshield instead. But nonetheless, this does look really good. And they did a great job trying to replicate the different designs. And the design exists on the box. So like you could see on the box up on the top, you have this like a triangle with circular edges, I guess you could describe it as, that goes up from the top of the windshield. And they definitely did a great job putting that design in here at the front. Although in the car, it's more angled. So like these lines are more straight and it looks like more like a 45-degree angle. Whereas on the box in the movie, as shown in this ornament, it's more like you took a circle and cut this. You put like a circle and you cut an outline around the circle to get the shape. And then just because of the size proportions, like these curves up here, they also seem to angle in a bit quicker than the box is displayed. And also the Buzz Lightyear logo up here on the front of the car as well. which is not actually on the case on the ornament here. So I'd assume in the movie as well. Well, I guess it's trying to get it. And then on the movie, or in the car rather, you also have the Buzz Lightyear logos on the side, which is also the case in here. Although in the car they are a bit angled, whereas on the so in the car they're a bit more angled, as you could see, whereas on the box it's curved but not angled. So I think they were just trying to change the vibes a little bit. It does look neat. It's an interesting design having it be angled. Like trying to get the curved vibe without actually making it curved. So that kind of is an easy thing to do in Photoshop, which does make it come across a little bit as lazy. And it does look, and at first glance, it looks like it was placed sloppily, I will say. But it doesn't look bad, though. And the back of the Buzz Lightyear box, you have these cardboard designs, but you don't have that on the bottom of the car. And then, of course, on the bottom, you can see the 3 rocket boosters. Those, I believe they should be there in this ornament, but they're not there because they had to have the place for the battery compartments, and this ornament has talking features. So that is one thing that the Buzz Lightyear car that has that this box does not. And for comparison's sake, here is a Lightning McQueen from Cars on the Road compared to Buzz Lightyear. So as you can see, they are approximately the same in width. And in length, McQueen is definitely a bit longer. There is a Buzz Lightyear car that Mattel has produced in the Cars movies, but I cannot do a comparison to that because I actually don't own that car myself, unfortunately, and I would absolutely love to, but I don't. So instead, we're just going to compare. We're just going to do a size comparison of McQueen, since he is by far and away the most popular and most common Cars character. And to do some measurements on Buzz Lightyear, Buzz clocks in at just over about 2¼ inches long and about 1¼ inches wide. Going from the bottom of the car to the top of his head is about 1½ inches. So moving on to Bo Peep now. So this Bo Peep is very clearly from Toy Story 4, whereas the Buzz Lightyear that we just reviewed, that's from both the first and the second movies. This one is from the 4th movie, and very specifically the 4th movie, because you could tell from the outfit and the skunk car. So the skunk car was what she drove around at the carnival in the 4th movie. And I'd assume that we'll see it again in the 5th movie, just because we're going to have to pick up Woody and Bo somewhere in the 5th movie, so anyway, going into this car definitely looks really nice. And unlike Buzz, this one doesn't have any decals, which means that there's none of that issue that Thailand sucks at. And this is the norm for the Racerverse cars, at least for the ones from Pixar. They don't really have any decals, except for Buzz. And I will note that this car actually has a really nice skunk texture. So I think this back part here is actually plastic and not metal, which is how it has such a good skunk texture, and the front part is not. But nonetheless, when you can really feel all the different ridges and grooves that they created for the skunk texture, and they also added a nice spoiler as practically, or a nice skunk tail rather, as practically being a spoiler. It might be a little hard to see all the detail in the texturing on the camera, but it's really visible both visually and in terms of feeling it in person. Although it is a bit jarring again from the front of the car, which is diecast metal. But the front of the car does some nice detailing well with this nice skunk fur pattern over here. You have the blue eyes. You have a plastic bottle cap as a nose. The bottle cap is also a piece of plastic. You can feel the ridges around the edge of the bottle cap, but you cannot remove it. Here's the bottom of the car. This also has the production code of T04. And again, made in Thailand. Copyright Disney Pixar, copyright 2023 Mattel, 1186 MJ1NL. It also has an HKCO4, no idea what that is. The HKCO4 is actually engraved onto it, whereas the CO4 is stamped on. The tire design for the skunk is a bit more basic than Buzz's. It's pretty much just a more standard RC car pattern that you could probably find in a lot of different cars out there, whereas Buzz's, I think, are a bit more unique. And going into the detail on Bo herself, I think Bo definitely looks really good. With Buzz, you actually can't see Buzz's feet because his hands are completely blocking the way. But with Bo here, you could actually see her feet, and your hands are on a... And they actually even built in the steering wheel as well. It might be hard to show on camera, but you can actually see the Bo's hands are on this yellow steering wheel. And her feet are even built in as well. You can see nice detailing around her head. So I believe that the Bo and Buzz, they are both made of plastic, whereas Buzz's car is mostly metal, but Bo's car is mostly plastic. Well, plastic built on a metal base. And there is some nice detailing on Bo. You could see this nice expression. Well, I feel like going for the Toy Story 4 vibe, I feel like Bo should have a bit more of like a... I feel like her expression is a little bit too happy for the Toy Story 4 vibes, I feel like. There is some nice detailing for her shirt. You can see this these white lines that go through along the sides. You can see her pink bow over here, which is definitely nice, and that also has nice texturing on the center of it. I think Bo's car is definitely really nice. There's also these two lines over here at the front. I'm not sure what those are. Well, actually, those are probably like some sort of decal to put on whiskers. So comparing her size to McQueen, again, McQueen is just a tiny bit longer in width. We're talking maybe it's a millimeter or something, maybe even less. And McQueen is also a little bit longer in height. But comparing Bo and Buzz in size, they're basically the exact same in width, or in length rather. Also pretty much identical in width. In height, they're probably about the same too. I will do a measurement of Bo as well now too. So from the front of Bo's bottle cap to the back of her skunk vehicle, she is pretty much the same as Buzz, 2¼ inches long. Measuring her in the back, since that's where she's the widest, she clocks in at 1¼ inches long. At the front where her bottle cap is, that part's only ¼ inch. Actually, yeah, that's about ¼ inch. In height, Bo comes in at about 1½ inches. So basically the exact same dimensions as Buzz. So I think out of these two Toy Story Racerverse vehicles, these are the only two they've done for Toy Story so far. I'd have to say that Buzz is probably the better one, because at least Buzz is mostly metal, which I think is a big plus. I think on Bo's, the main criticism that I have with Bo's is that going from the plastic back that's so textured to the metal front that has like no texturing at all, it's a very jarring difference. Whereas like with Buzz's decals that you can't read, it like from a distance, you're not really gonna see it from a distance. Like you look at it on camera right now, or where I am in person, you can't really see that. You can't make out any of the text. It's only frustrating when you're looking at it up close. So it's not something I say is good about Buzz, but it's something that it's noticeable or not noticeable from a distance. Whereas Bo's issue of the difference in texturing, it's blatantly clear from a distance. But like other than that, they're both really good cars. I definitely recommend picking the both of these up if you're a Toy Story fan. And let me know in the comment section below which of the two you prefer and if you'll be picking either of these up. or what other Toy Story characters or Pixar characters in general that you would like to see as part of the Hot Wheels Racerverse line. And make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you soon for another video. Bye now.